Hi everyone, I'm Monique and I'm back creating for Lottie Loves Paper using their fun new weekly sketch and the gorgeous colour study collection from Vicki Boutin. Now I'm starting off with this gorgeous floral patterned paper. It's called Gallery and I'm using the B side, and I am just going to be cutting off 6 of these circular patterns. I'm looking carefully to find ones where the outer rings match the rainbow colours because I want to go in rainbow sequence. So one has an outer ring of red, one of orange, one of yellow, a light blue, a green, and then like a dark indigo blue colour. And I'm just cutting those out and placing those on my sheet of textured cardstock, which is basil textured cardstock, and I'm just kind of placing them in line with where the sketch is, and I'm flipping through the 6x8 pattern paper and taking out a few of my offcuts from previous projects because I want to make little stacks of circles in complementary colours that tie in with those little circles. So I'm aiming to do a little red cluster, a little orange one, a little yellow, green, light blue and dark blue, and these are going to kind of be like little floral clusters. So I suppose a little modern take on floral because they're not going to have petals as such. So I've taken some of my Sizzix metal dies and I'm roughly cutting around the shape. So I've got a smaller circle and a medium-sized circle, and so they're going to kind of nest into each other. So I'm just going around each colour to make my little stacks before putting them through my die cutting machine.
Gonna stay in this moment, gonna lay here on the grass. I don't need to feel lonely, I am fine the moment.
I'm slowly working through each of those 6 little piles to create 2 additional circles, so a smaller sized one and a medium sized one using my Sizzix Big Shot, and just forming those little clusters. So here I'm doing my last set and just putting them together, and I'm happy with how that's looking. And now I'm going to be cutting my circle using my largest circle metal die, just so that it coordinates nicely with the sketch and with those other circles. So I've got 2 photos. I do put the one photo aside later on, but it's there for now. And I'm just distressing each one of those little circles just to give a little bit of extra texture around the edges.
And I don't mind being gone on adventures for a while. No, no.
Now I want to create some leaves to go along with those 6 circular florals. So I'm using the leaf stamp from the Colour Study collection and some Cosmic Shimmer metallic gilding polish stamped on one of the black 6x8 pattern papers, also from the Colour Study collection. So I'm just stamping a whole bunch of those, and I think it gives a lovely contrast. And then I'm going to be taking some gold thread and just machine stitching around each one of those circles just to add a little bit of extra gold shimmer to each of those clusters. Now I'm taking my pokey tool and I've just kind of stacked the 3 circles on top of each other, and I'm just taking a regular gold split pin from my kids' craft stash and inserting it through the center of those stacks of 3 circles. And I think it gives the perfect finishing touch to those little circular floral clusters, and I love that hint of gold in the middle as well. I'd really like to just ruffle up those edges a little bit just so that you can differentiate between the layers. So I'm just going in with my fingers and raising the edges of each of those 3 layers in each of the little clusters. Now I'm cutting out all of those leaves just to see how they look and placing them on my page. So I'm just starting to see where I like them and how I'd like them to fit along the page. So I've decided on a backing sheet, and I'm just going to be trimming down my textured white cardstock. So it ends up measuring 11¼ inches, which leaves just enough space to have that beautiful patterned paper peeking out in the background. Now that patterned paper from the Colour Study collection is called Spheres, and you can see there I've just gutted the middle so that I can use that pattern paper as well, and it's just really such a pretty subtle design for the background. Now I'm going to be backing my circular photos with the centerpiece of that pattern paper, but I'm first backing it with black. You'll see in a moment that I stick it all together and then just decide I don't like the black border there, and I just feel it's too much of a contrast against the rest of the layout. So I do pull it apart and remove that black layer. But for now, I go through the process just to see how it'll look.
Of all the magic places in the world I've been to, this is where my heart is. Oh, you know it's true. No matter where I go, I'm coming home to you. Been walking down the street so many times, my feet know every brick and stone. Could wear a blindfold no matter what.
There I go, pulling it apart and then sticking it straight onto that patterned paper background. And I did distress those edges as well. And in a moment you're going to see I've stitched right around the edge of that white cardstock and the photos. When I went around the white cardstock, I did a double layer of stitching all the way around, and I purposefully went a little bit wonky because I wanted it to look like a doodled border. Now I've decided I want to add in some of these monochrome florals, and they are on the A side of that gallery patterned paper where I use the circles for the centers of those colorful flowers. So I'm just going in with those monochrome florals just to add a little bit of extra floral interest, and I'm kind of doing a diagonal from the top left down to the bottom right with those florals. Now I've decided I don't like the black leaves, so I'm trying the same technique but on green. I feel I need to add a little bit of lime to this layout. So I'm going in and testing out a few, and I put that there and I think I definitely like the lime green instead. So I go ahead and I make all those lime green leaves to replace the black ones.
And I don't know why, don't know why, don't know why I'm always feeling homesick.
Now I've changed my mind again. I'm very indecisive with this layout. So I've decided that I don't like the gold on the green, and I've gone in with some distress ink in the color Mode Lawn and stamped my florals once again, and I much prefer that. And I've taken some gold thread and machine stitched down the center and kind of folded them in half just to give them an extra little bit of height and dimension. And now I'm going back in and replacing all those leaves once again, and I much prefer that shade of lime green just with the green stamping. Now I'm just making little pencil marks because I've decided I want to do some more gold stitching on my patterned card. So I'm just marking kind of a grid pattern so that they're evenly spaced, so that I can do 3 rows of stitching, 2 going down the page and 1 going across. And there I've just kind of repeated what I've done around the border with 2 rows of stitching along each line and just a little bit wonky so that it looks like a doodled line. Now once again I'm just going in with my florals and my leaves again before I start sticking everything down.
All I know is this is where my heart is.
Time to get everything stuck down. Now because of those split pins in the center, it does mean that those circular florals have a little bit of height in the center, so I'm using some clear silicone glue just in the center of each of those to stick them down, and just adhering those monochrome florals to the backs of those colorful circles and then sticking those clusters down together.
Many places where the beauty never ends. Different cities, friendly faces.
I would like my photo to be slightly raised, so I'm using a little bit of craft foam and sticking that on the back so that my photo is slightly raised above all those circles and leaves. And as you may have seen, I added some silicone glue to the back of my leaves, and I add a little bit more glue at the tips of the leaves just so that those edges are slightly higher than the little pieces that are sticking behind the circular florals. Now it's time for my title. So I'm using the gorgeous thickers from the Floral Study collection. I love all the different colors, and my title is going to be London Fun. We spent some time in London a couple of years ago, and I got this really cute photo of my kiddies on a carousel, which was right near the London Eye at the time, and it was just perfect for this very circular themed layout. So I'm just going in with some of the little phrase stickers from the Colour Study sticker book and just sticking them along the horizontal. Now you will have seen that I've swapped the sketch around and put the photo on the bottom right side of the page, and that's because my kids' eyes are looking up towards the top left of the page, so it fits in really nicely with that horizontal that's coming down from the top left to the bottom right. And now I'm adding in some little puffy hearts, which come from the puffy word stickers from the Colour Study collection. They're the perfect little accents to this page, along with some lovely gold splatters to finish it off. Now, I actually thought I'd finish this page. I took my photos, and then I decided that I wanted to add some twiddles of gold thread. Now, twiddles are not my strong suit. I end up fiddling for ages to get the twiddle just right. But I was happy with this addition. It's not something I often add to a layout. I often think I would like to, and then I totally forget about it until long after the layout's complete. So I was really glad that I actually remembered this time and did add them in, because I do feel it adds a lovely extra element of texture to the page. Now the twiddling certainly does take me quite a while, but I'm just about done and I'm getting it stuck down with a little bit of glossy accents, and I am just loving creating with the gorgeous Colour Study collection. It is all available in the Lottie Loves Paper online store now. I'll link everything up for you below, and here we've got some close-ups of all those details and layers and texture. Thank you so much for watching. I hope something you've seen today has inspired some new ideas for you, and if you've enjoyed this video, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to my channel. You can find me on Instagram at Handmade Happy by Monique, and I look forward to sharing something new with you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!